Evil Eye. Don't stare too much, you will turn into stone. And starting off the Evil Eye, it's UR, which is pretty ridiculous, so bear with me here. So how this card works, it's an equip card. No, don't let the equip card part scare you. Listen to this effect. So equip to an Evil Eye monster, can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, nor be targeted by them, but becomes a Casitas that can't be destroyed in battle. If the equipped monster's effect or Evil Eye spell and traps activate, you gain 500 attack and take 500 damage. There's a bit of a cost to it. Remember, we only have 4,000 might points working with this, so I guess that's a bit of a balance. You know, you can die with this effect, but in parenthesis, you know, the attack boost remains even after this card leaves the field. So if you do manage to get rid of it, that is not enough. The attack is still there, but I mean, it can't be destroyed. It'll be able to be destroyed in battle and etc. All the things that this card protected from. This sounds like a pretty crazy card here. Way to start off this archetype. Also, while it's in the graveyard, you could pay 1,000 to banish another Evil Eye spell and trap to put that card back on the field face down. Set it. That can be done once per turn. Evil Eye of Selene right off the bat sounds like this crazy card that you can recur. So maybe this deck is going to rely on life point gain skills, etc. Let's explore this archetype some more. I can say right now, Evil Eye Selene is stupid good. Like, what the heck? Medusa, don't stare at her too long. So what she does, upon normal summoning, you can add an Evil Eye card from your graveyard to your hand. So keyword here is card, so pretty much you can add spell, traps, or monsters. Any card, per se. While it's equipped with Evil Eye of Selene, it gains a quick effect that's once per turn. You can banish a card from your opponent's graveyard. So that is very crazy because, you know, a lot of our game, it does rely on us utilizing the graveyard. So to be able to, the fact that it's a quick effect, that means once per turn during your turn and once per turn during your opponent's turn. And since a quick effect, you can catch them slipping if they're targeting cards in the graveyard, you can basically banish it right away. Shirinoi's definitely gonna hate this because as soon as you see that spectral sword in the graveyard, you're banishing it for sure. Now, there is a bit of a balance to this card. It's pretty much whenever you trigger that effect, the following standby, you have to banish one of your own cards from your graveyard. But I wonder if you can do it without, you know, if you don't have the requirement met. So interesting card. So Medusa is like a recycle. It's one of your, it seems like the main monster. It's kind of packing a weak attack, but I mean, I'm assuming that most of these Evil Eye monsters will be weak attack to balance out the Selene that we saw above us. So graveyard recycle, pay for itself, floater. Like it. I like it. And it's a fiend. That's all me, boys. So the next card we got here, field card. So we're working with field cards here and effects. So what is this one? Evil Eye Domain, Pareidolia. Upon activation, you can add an Evil Eye monster from your deck to your hand. +1. I like it. So I love a field card that can pay for itself. So what else can it do that makes it so great? Because everything after a field card paying for itself is just icing on the cake. So what I'm seeing here, you know, once per turn during damage calc, while you have an Evil Eye of Selene in the spell and trap zone, you can inflict damage to your opponent with. You can inflict your opponent with the battle damage you took from a battle involving an Evil Eye monster. So it's like only when it's attacked, you got like this Amazon and Swordswoman type of effect. So this is actually pretty good too. It'll alleviate the damage that you're taking too. That way you're not. That way you can do your payments and all that without having to worry too much. But you know, that's pretty cool. And also the second effect here that it has, the third effect here that it has, is if it's destroyed while in the field card zone, you can target an Evil Eye monster in your graveyard and add it to your hand. So the recycle. So I'm seeing a lot of cycle, a lot of search, a lot of floating sort of synergies here. First cards I think of that can trigger this destruction is like a Galaxy Cyclone or a Devil Cyclone. So who knows if we're gonna put that in here, you know, I'm just kind of giving you guys an understanding of how the Periodolia can be destroyed super easily. Basilius, the familiar. Pretty much level 3 fiend monster with packing a 2k booty. Well, he could special summon while you control an evil eye monster once per turn. You can also during your main phase mill an evil eye spell or trap from your deck to your graveyard. That is super good. It's kind of weird because you have to control the evil eye monster, so it's kind of this weird order with the Medusa, because she grabs a card, but you need a evil eye monster on the field before. So this seems like something that'll happen after, but he can fill your graveyard with spells and traps to trigger, you know, that repayment for your evil eye of Selene. So mill, set up your graveyard for key cards, and then also set up cards for Medusa to grab back later on. Evil Eye of Gorgoneo. See how this card works. So pretty much its name becomes Evil Eye of Selene in the spell or trap zone. So okay, so you have multiple Eye of Selenes technically in this deck. So his name, you know, it functions as a different name, but can only be activated once per turn, and while your life points are lower than the opponent, you gain attack equal to the different. So that effect alone starts showing me how you alleviate the damage that you take. So this card lets you gain attack to the different. So that could, you know, if your opponent had 4,000 and you had 500 per se, right? Then you're getting a nice fat 3,500 boost. On top of the fact that you can be targeted, can be destroyed by battle, etc. So this is insane. So this turns your downside to a plus side. And it also has a secondary effect that you can banish from your graveyard and discard an evil eye card to add an evil eye spell or trap from your deck to your hand. So I'm seeing a lot of these floating capabilities without the cards being able to pay for themselves by searching other cards when you use them, etc. So I'm assuming that Evil Eye of Gorgoneo is going to be... Gorgoneo and Selene are going to be key parts of this deck. Great card. Great for this archetype. Big pump. Reusable. Well, not reusable, but lets you search a spell or trap from your deck. So definitely something that's going to boost this deck's consistency and make it strong. So next card we got here, Evil Eye Confrontation. It is a quick play. If you control an Evil Eye monster, you can destroy an opponent's spell or trap. But the flavor of this card is that you can, if an Evil Eye Selene is in the spell or trap zone, you can banish it instead. So it is a hard once per turn, but this is like their version of a Cosmic Cyclone, so that's pretty sick actually. Though it is kind of situational because you do need to control an Evil Eye monster. I just think of cards like this that are filler for Evil Eye spells and traps that you need, right? So this is just a spell and trap removal that goes on top of the fact that you don't have to pay 1,000, I guess, with Cosmic. But these are Evil Eye spells and traps that you could banish for the fuel of like a Selene or a Gorgoneo. Evil Eye Defeat. If you control an Evil Eye monster, you can bounce one monster back to the hand. Bouncing a monster back to the hand does seem kind of underwhelming. But when you start when we're in such like a fusion and synchro heavy meta, you definitely, if you control Evil Eye monster, you definitely want to bounce a synchro or a fusion or something that paid its way onto the field. That's very useful. And the flavor of this card is that you can bounce 2 if you control Eye of Selene in the spell or trap zone. So bouncing 2 monsters, now this deck kind of has like its own little dual wield. And then the secondary thing about this Evil Eye deck, this Evil Eye card, is that it does fuel, you know, bringing back the Selene, etc. Though you bounce 2 cards on the field and then banish it from the graveyard to get a Selene back, etc. Or any other, you know, cards that you're using to pay this cost. So I really like Evil Eye Defeat. This is definitely a great source of monster removal while setting yourself up for key crucial Evil Eye spells and traps in the graveyard. Evil Eye Awakening, which is a normal spell which allows you to special summon an evil eye monster from your hand or graveyard, so thus making Catablepas even more useless. This is also an Evil Eye spell that you can banish with, etc. But if you control Evil Eye Selene, you can summon one Evil Eye monster from your deck instead. So this is definitely a 3-of. It's definitely a 3-of. Extremely powerful. Hard once per turn, unfortunately, but that's definitely a balance to this card. Summoning an Evil Eye monster from your deck, that is ideal. But summoning a monster, special summoning an Evil Eye monster from your hand is definitely not bad at all. Evil Eye Repose, a continuous spell. Upon activation, you can banish an Evil Eye card from your graveyard to draw a card. So banish to draw. So like I said, a card that's paying for itself has a once per turn effect that even after damage calculation, if a monster equipped with Eye Selene attacked the opponent's monster, you can banish it. So it's sort of like this pseudo Amazoness Onslaught, where only when you attack your opponent's monster with that monster equipped with the Evil Eye of Selene, it can banish it. This is after damage calculation, etc. So you do take damage or whatever you have to, but remember that you can the field card protects you from damage when your opponent attacks you, so you definitely don't care about running your monsters into your opponent's monster. So you're able to banish it, and then it has a secondary effect where if it's destroyed by a card effect while in the spell or trap zone, you can return up to 3 banished Evil Eye cards back to the graveyard, thus fueling it. And also keep in mind that Evil Eye Repose is an Evil Eye spell and trap, so it goes to the graveyard and it's up for banishing. So this deck seems pretty crazy. Though it's lacking in the monster count, it has a lot of ways to easily search their cards. It seems very consistent. I think the thing that I don't like about it is that it is very reliant on equip cards, where a well-timed Cosmic Cyclone or Disruption effect can really shut this deck down. But I'm definitely indeed excited to try it out. So in this singles, the first card that stood out to me was Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight. Pretty interesting card we're getting here. So let me talk to you guys about how she's summoned. You'll need a Dark Magician Girl and a Dragon monster if you were using a fusion summon of this card. But I think the ideal way that you're going to summon this card is tributing Dark Magician Girl with Eye Timaeus. Her effect, which is kind of unique in itself, it's a once per turn quick effect that lets you send a card from your hand to the graveyard to target a face-up card on the field and destroy it. So the quick effect part makes it a bit more versatile. You can chain to things, you can wait for stuff to happen, and you can use it defensively. Even though it's once per turn, it's still pretty powerful in its own right. Now, 2 skills I want to highlight. This is from the new Yugi. There's Gathering of Disciples and there's Dark Horizon. I haven't really decided on which one I would rather use, but I definitely don't want to put Dark Magician Girl in my deck, so maybe I'll use the Gathering of Disciples. But it can be the way Gathering of Disciples can be used is pretty much you reveal a Dark Magician in your hand, and then you add a Dark Magician Girl from outside of your deck to the bottom of your deck. But if you have 25,000 or fewer life points, you can add the Dark Magician Girl to your hand from outside of your deck. So you could probably tribute like a Rod, or you can put her at the bottom and then she could come out with like a Magician's Navigation. So you have Dark Magician for the guy of the Swift guy, the Dark Cavalry, and you have the Eye of Timaeus on Dark Magician Girl for the Dark Magician Girl, the Dragon Knight, and she's packing a 2600 attack, so it's a bit bigger than the typical Dark Magician thing, but I feel like Dark Magician has always struggled dealing with bigger monsters, so Dark Magician Girl will definitely alleviate that. Now, the next skill we got here, if you take a Dark Horizon, pretty much saying if you take a total of 2000 or more damage, you can use it to play a Dark Magician Girl from your deck, or you can play a Dark Magician, or you can play a Dark Magician from your deck, which is also another great skill to use with this. Is just you actually have to put the Dark Magician Girl in your deck, and I don't know how much that's gonna hurt or help you, but I'm definitely interested in trying this card out if I get my hands on one. It's Definitely a good one of to have here. Primitive Butterfly. Now, you know, the reason I like this card is because it's like one of those little synchro enablers, but the unique part about this card, it is a level 5 synchro. All you need to do is not have any monster on the field, summon a free level 5, right? But then it also has a once per turn effect of increasing all the insect type monster you control by 1, so it's a level 5 or a level 6. So a little bit more versatile. Chain Hole, but it has a very unique effect, but I feel like it's gonna be some cool side deck tech later maybe, so that's why I want to review it. Pretty much when your opponent activates a monster effect in response to a card effect or activation. So what they mean by that is like you activate an effect on something, right? And then they chain a monster effect to that. That opens up the leeway to activate the Chain Hole. So you activate Chain Hole and you negate that effect. Then the opponent can banish one card from their hand and deck with the same name. But if they don't have that, then they have to banish a card randomly from their hand. So you negate their effect and you banish a card from their hand. Some of the cards that this easily works on, Lehu or Lapuila. There's other cards that this card works with, but those are definitely the main ones that I wanted to bring up to give you guys an idea of how this card works. So maybe it'll be some cool little tech later on. But Chain Hole looking pretty interesting so far, but we'll see in the future what the time brings.